guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker with a face for radio and a voice for print. My internet's been a little sketchy over the last couple days, sitting out here in the middle of the woods. And it's storming out, which for some reason affects my Wi-Fi, cellular, and Starlink and all that crap. Anyway, so instead of making you suffer through a live stream that keeps dropping out today on Rumble and Locals, I'm going to just record a couple of videos, drop them. That way they can upload nice and slow, and you guys can still see my content. Harley-Davidson CEO has been fired. I did videos on this. I called it out. Many people called it out, obviously, last July and August, when Harley-Davidson was putting in DEI policies and being inclusive and all the things. And then people boycotted Harley-Davidson at Sturgis, the largest motorcycle event here in America. Happens every year. And I showed videos. Harley was just empty. It was a ghost town while thousands of motorcycles were driving around the area and people were going to other places. Well, Harley-Davidson finally had enough. They said, "You're fired," to the CEO. Now, of course, he calls it retirement, but he's out. And this is what happens. And we've talked about this many, many times. When you use men to create a brand and to create a product, and they are your main sales target, of course, motorcycles, mostly to men, and of course, Harley-Davidson, mostly to men. When men are your product, and then you turn your back on guys, and then you're surprised when your brand goes to trash, you deserve to be fired. I mean, obviously, you just don't know what's going on. For those of you on YouTube, you didn't hear this story because YouTube, but over on Rumble and Locals, I talked about Hooters, the restaurant. Instead, they embraced big girls, they embraced dudes dressed as women, and the brand has now started to file for bankruptcy. And instead of fixing it and bringing back, girls women or girls men are actually attracted to, instead they said, we're just going to get rid of the Hooters part. We're just going to serve food. So they're going to become a crappy Applebee's. Well, yes, of course, they're going to fail and they're going to go under. But this is what happens when you men make your brand and then you turn your backs on men. But before we get into the main article, let's hear from today's sponsor, Comes Chocolate. As you guys know, many of my topics are about masculinity and having a healthy mind and body. But the attack on masculinity is a problem we can't ignore. Everywhere you look, the modern world's trying to strip men of their power, confidence, even their role in relationships. They want you weaker, they want you softer, if you know what I mean. And worst of all, they've turned intimacy into another battlefield where men are walking on eggshells. Joe Rogan is living proof that optimal health and peak performance are possible at any age. He brings on top experts on his show who discuss the alarming decline in young men's sexual health, testosterone levels, even the growing reliance on ED meds. Here's one of those discussions.
There's this massive upswing in the amount of people in their 20s and 30s that are taking Viagra. So men in their 20s are taking Viagra. Wow. Super, super common.
Wow.
And they're saying it's because their testosterone has dropped so much that it's really difficult for them to perform sexually.
Well, there's also microplastics. Microplastics,
right.
Which is...
Glyphosate, microplastics are some of the biggest things.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that are disrupting our endocrine system.
Yeah.
But here's the truth. You don't have to accept this decline. It's time to take back your vitality, and it all starts with the right fuel. That's where this little powerful aphrodisiac chocolate comes in. Comes made a chocolate that combines the most potent libido-boosting extracts on the planet to help spark that bedroom action by doing something out of the ordinary. Some of these extracts are Tanga Ali, an ancient natural herb that has been used for thousands of years to increase testosterone levels, improve libido, and reduce stress levels. Horny goatweed, self-explanatory. The chocolate is, and it also has L-arginine, which aids in increasing blood flow and improving sexual function. This chocolate is truly an amazing natural way of supercharging your bedroom game and boosting your T levels. And a huge plus is they also have a tailored chocolate for the ladies as well, making it perfect for a date night or movie night. And the best part is you can try Comes Chocolate with an amazing buy two, get one free offer already applied at the website. Remember, by supporting my sponsors, you support me directly. So hurry and take advantage of this amazing 48-hour promo and support me alongside this amazing brand and chocolate. Well, if eating chocolate and improving your testosterone and your libido isn't for you, I don't know what to tell you, but go check them out. Links are down below as always. So Harley-Davidson sparked a boycott going totally woke with DEI policy. Again, this is from July of last year. And then Harley-Davidson slams brakes on woke policies after sparking biker and social media outrage. That's from August. And now from 2 days ago, it took them 8 months to get their act together. Harley-Davidson CEO Jochen Zeitz retiring as plummeting sales, tariffs slam the motorcycle maker. Now, you remember at one point in time, Harley-Davidson was labeled the American motorcycle. It really was. Indian was also another brand that was American made, but Indian had its struggles and it went silent for 60 years and then was purchased up by Polaris. And now the motorcycles they make, they're really good bikes. I have one of them. I have an Indian Scout Rogue. Love the thing. Anyway, instead of being the American-made motorcycle, some of the bikes were made in India. Some of the bikes were made in Mexico. Some of the bikes were now being assembled and made in Thailand and Vietnam. And yes, I'm sure these new tariffs have something to do with it. But in the same token, it's also the DEI. When you took an American brand, spread it all over the world, didn't make it an American, and these motorcycles, go look them up. Some of these bikes the starting ones are 15. The lower end ones, the fat boys and the other ones that are customized a little bit, they're $20,000 to $30,000, maybe $35,000 bikes. And you've lost they're more expensive because they're made in the United States. You lost that. You make them all over the world. And then by embracing stuff that guys don't like, they basically destroyed the brand. Let me see what the stock. So Harley-Davidson, if you go out to 5 years, at their peak, they were worth roughly $48. And this is just back in February of 2023. Then all the boycotts and the craziness sparked, and they dropped down to 26, and now they are trading at just $20. And if you go back and look at Harley way back, and it's down 11% just in the last since market opened today. But if you go back and look at them, they were a solid brand for a long time. Anyway, Harley-Davidson, Jochen Zeitz, plans to retire as CEO in 2025, the company said Tuesday, ending a 5-year tenure marked by efforts to revive the American motorcycle maker struggling with plummeting demand. Zeitz, who helped revive German footwear brand Puma and its near-bankrupt business, joined Harley's board in 2007 and was tapped in CEO in May of 2020. So he's only been the CEO since 2020, and in 2020, it was trading at about $18 in April of 2020. So you took it up, and then you took it right back down again. And this is also something else, too. How are you going to, instead of having somebody that loves motorcycles, loves the brand, loves what it stands for, you bring in a German Puma footwear CEO to save, that didn't work. And needless to say, he had sustainability and the environment and all the LGHD TV stuff. That was his biggest concern, not actual American-made motorcycles. Zeitz, 62, launched the Hardwire strategy in 2021, which is their electric motorcycle, if I remember, and I don't think it's gone anywhere, to turn around the storied motorcycle maker looking to connect with young riders as its key customer base of baby boomers aged. The 5-year strategy involved prioritizing high-margin products, in other words, making them cheap, selling them expensive, exiting international markets with low sale volume, and modernizing the brand's appeal. This is where they got it wrong. The brand's appeal shouldn't be modernized. It should be embraced as an American classic. That's what actually made Harley-Davidson the brand that it was. Americana, American classic. And try to modernize it and make it other things it's not is what's destroying it. Jochen has done a nice job of shrinking Harley's total global footprint and refocusing the company on its core touring bikes and large cruisers, said Raymond James analyst Joe Altobello. Unfortunately, the industry has been challenged by several factors, including higher interest rates. At the same time, consumers appear to prefer smaller and more affordable bikes, which is not Harley's strength. This is what happens when you try to be all the things. Instead of letting other brands handle the less expensive, handle the what's the word I'm looking for? The cheaper, less expensive bikes. Instead of letting others handle that, and Harley focuses on its high end and its quality and its American made, etc., they tried to do all the things. And by doing all the things, they became nothing. Look, Rolexes sell, and no, there's not a lot of Rolex sales. No, there's not a lot of I don't know, expensive wristwatches that are $10,000 to $15,000 a pop. There's not a lot of them sold, but they make good money because they've held the name, they've held the brand, they've held the quality for the most part. But when Harley tries to become like everybody else out there, now you're competing with Yamahas and Honda street cruisers and some of this other stuff. You've absolutely trashed the brand. And people know this. And really what Harley should be doing, I don't remember the last time I saw an advertisement for Harley. You should be advertising Americana and cruising the roads of Route 66 across the country and advertising that it's freedom, and maybe coming up with a hitch on the back end that you can put up a small pop tent. You can tow a little trailer behind that has a little kitchenette and a pop tent, because I remember I've seen those back in the day, where you can go cruising and then you pull into a place where you can park for the night. You pop open your tent from your little tiny trailer. You know, it's like 3 or 4 foot long trailer. It only weighs 100 pounds. Motorcycle can tow it easily. And you crawl into that and sleep out in the wilds. See, it's all about brand and advertising. And if you came up with a way that people could ride a motorcycle and they feel like hitting the road and they have a little place to stay and sleep for free on this little trailer at night, and maybe it's got a tiny kitchen of a cook pot and just a place you could put a portable grill or something or other, there are ways you could make this work. Instead, Harley just ditched everything it was and decided to be like everybody else. Harley's board said it launched a search process, and Zeitz is expected to remain until a successor is named. And now you've got this from Harley-Davidson's director. He calls out the cultural depletion of a brand, and he is correct on this. Look, I'm Gen X. I love motorcycles. I grew up at the age of 16. I owned a motorcycle. I bought it for $400. It was something I could afford to buy myself because I couldn't afford a car. It was great on gas. I got it was a little, probably, how many cc engine was it? Maybe 100, 150, 200 cc engine, or I don't even remember. It was a very small engine. But the point was, it was great on gas. It got me to work and back. I got a little suit I could wear in the rain. I learned how to ride in the rain. And I've been a motorcycle enthusiast and culture lover ever since. These brands are not targeting young people. You need to put advertising out there. And now today, things have changed. So you just need to change your advertising a little bit. These brands have just left everything that's traditional, and it's got to be new and innovative instead of going back to tradition. In the wake of CEO's Johann Seitz retirement announcement, Harley-Davidson's board member, Jared Dourdeville, raised serious concerns about the company's management and decisions that have damaged the Harley-Davidson brand. According to a redacted letter disclosed through an SEC filing, Dourdeville, who represents second largest shareholder H Partners, singled out Zeitz for the company's failed strategies and had previously called for his immediate resignation, as well as some of those from lead independent director Tom Lineberger and board member Sarah Levinson. Dourdeville's decision to leave the board was predicated on decisions by Zeitz and the board that resulted in the cultural depletion of the Harley-Davidson brand, which includes the decimation at the corporate level, which has become more glaring in recent months. Dourdeville also became more concerned about the lack of accountability and transparency, crisis in the company's dealer network, specifically the decision to increase inventory levels and carry costs, which padded Harley-Davidson's profits at the expense of dealer profitability. Additionally, Harley-Davidson's response to the Robbie Starbuck DEI campaign was grossly mismanaged, resulting in a material and lasting impact on customers' relationship with the Harley-Davidson brand. While Dourdeville still believes in the company's long-term potential, he cautions that H Partner reserves the right to take any action deemed necessary to protect its shareholders. You know, here you've got a member of the board actually calling out Zeitz, saying, hey, the LGHD TV stuff, the DEI, the branding of the electric motorcycles. And if you know anything about electric motorcycles, number one, you know they're expensive. To create a whole entire division around electric motorcycles is extremely expensive. And you need to be dedicated to that. And you need to be solely focused on that. Trying to shift your user base being, baby boomers, Gen X motorcycle riders, and maybe older millennials that have a little bit of money that still like the brand, to try to shift them all the way from classic, because when I was young, Harley was Americana and freedom of the road and, Easy Rider type movie. If you ever watched the movie Easy Rider, that was Harley-Davidson. To shift them from that all the way into electric motorcycles and sustainability and DEI in just a generation and a half is literal self-termination. What they should have focused on is the open road in America, because you've got competing companies out there here in the United States. You've got brands like Zero. I used to own a Zero motorcycle. Let me just pull this up. I used to own a Zero motorcycle, and they are completely 100% focused on electric motorcycles and touring bikes and dirt bikes and, long range 150, 200 mile motorcycles. They've been working at this for a decade plus. And yes, they're expensive, and yes, they're electric, but they're also really freaking cool. Now, if you ask most young people, hey, you want an electric motorcycle? Do you want the stodgy old Harley? Or would you rather go with this cool, young, I think they're in California, San Jose, California, this cool, hip, young, innovative brand? People are going to say, well, the young people are going to move over towards this. You need to appreciate and focus on the market that you have and sell America and sell the history and sell the brand. And Harley just walked away from it. So by going this new direction with DEI inclusivity, HD, LD TV stuff, and it was the anti-white training that they went through with the DEI stuff, they basically ended themselves, because now the old people that want the older, sorry fellas, I don't mean to call you old because I'm old, but we older guys that like Americana and the classic stuff, we've walked away. We've moved to Indian. We've moved to other brands. And the young people that they were courting and hoping to get with they're leftists. They don't have any money. They're woke. They don't have money for motorcycles. And they just trash themselves. So, Harley, you get what you asked for. Congratulations. Guys, if you like my work, don't forget down below, you can, on Rumble, hit the join button. Join me over on Locals. For those of you on YouTube, hit betterbachelor.locals.com. We got a great community of thousands of like-minded dudes. Free speech. We do movie nights. We do, let me see, do I have some of my thumbnails? I do gaming nights where I just open a chat room and we chill and game together. We do 80s movie nights where we watch old 80s TV shows while we hang out. We do UFC fight night this weekend. I think it's UFC 314 we'll be watching on Saturday. And we'll do movie night on Friday, and we'll pick out some movies. So come on over, join us today. I would appreciate it if you did. And we will see you in the next one.